The elevator doors opened into a silent hallway. Adrian Cole stepped out first, followed closely by the old woman. The hallway had not changed since his father's death. Dark wooden walls, expensive paintings, and a long carpet stretched toward the private study that had remained locked for 12 years. Adrian stopped outside the door. His hand trembled slightly as he pulled the old key from his pocket. "Your father gave you the key?" he asked. The woman nodded. "He told me never to use it unless I knew you were ready." Adrian looked at her. "And now?" "Now you are in danger." He inserted the key. The lock clicked. The door opened with a soft creak. Dust covered the furniture, but everything else looked exactly as Adrian remembered it. His father's desk stood beside the window. A leather chair faced the fireplace. On the wall hung a large photograph of Richard Cole smiling beside Adrian when he was a child. Adrian walked slowly toward the desk. "What did my father discover?" The old woman closed the door behind them. "Your father discovered that someone inside Cole Industries was stealing millions." Adrian frowned. "That happens in every large company. This was different." "How?" "He discovered that the money was being used to control people." Adrian turned. "What do you mean?" The woman took a deep breath. "There were people who knew too much. Employees. Lawyers. Journalists. Even government officials. Whenever someone threatened to expose the operation, they were frightened into silence." Adrian stared at her. "And my father found out?" "Yes." "Who was behind it?" She hesitated. "Victor Hale was involved." Adrian's jaw tightened. "But he wasn't working alone." "Who else?" The woman looked at the photograph of Richard. "Your father's closest friend." Adrian's expression changed. "Daniel Mercer?" She nodded. Daniel Mercer had been Adrian's godfather and one of the most trusted men in the Cole family. Adrian shook his head. "No. Your father trusted him too." "That's impossible. Your father believed loyalty was stronger than money." The woman looked down sadly. "Unfortunately, he was wrong." Adrian walked to the desk. He opened drawers one by one. Nothing. Then he remembered the old cabinet. It stood behind a bookshelf. Adrian pushed the shelf aside. A narrow metal door appeared. He inserted the key. The cabinet opened. Inside were several folders, an old phone, a small flash drive, and a handwritten notebook. Adrian picked up the notebook. His father's handwriting filled the first page. Adrian began reading. The words were short and frightening. "I have discovered the truth. If anything happens to me, the person I trusted most is responsible." Adrian stopped. His breathing became shallow. "There's more," the woman whispered. He turned the page. The next line read, "Do not trust Daniel." Adrian stepped backward. For years, Daniel had stood beside him. He had helped manage the company after Richard's death. He had advised Adrian through difficult business decisions. He had even attended Adrian's birthday celebrations. Adrian had considered him family. Now the words on the page made everything feel like a lie. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Adrian asked. "Because I was afraid." "Afraid of Daniel?" "Afraid of everyone." The woman pulled her sleeve back slightly. The bruises on her arm were darker than before. Adrian noticed them again. "Who did that to you?" She looked away. "People who wanted the notebook." "Where were you hiding?" "A small shelter outside the city." "Who found you?" "Victor's men." Adrian's face hardened. "They followed you here?" "I don't know." Suddenly, the lights went out. The woman gasped. Adrian immediately reached for his phone. No signal. A faint sound came from the hallway. Footsteps. Someone was walking toward the study. Adrian whispered, "Stay behind me." The footsteps stopped outside the door. 3 seconds passed. Then someone tried the handle. Adrian moved toward the desk. The door opened slightly. A security guard appeared. "Mr. Cole?" Adrian recognized him. "What happened?" "Power failure in the East Wing." Adrian studied his face. "Who else is inside?" "Only security and the remaining staff." The old woman suddenly grabbed Adrian's sleeve. "Don't trust him." The guard's expression changed. Before Adrian could react, another security officer appeared behind the first. The first man reached inside his jacket. Adrian stepped back. "Stop." The old woman grabbed the notebook and threw it across the room. The guard instinctively looked toward it. Adrian used the moment to slam the door shut. He locked it. "There's another way out," he said. He remembered a hidden passage behind the fireplace. His father had once shown it to him when he was a child. Adrian pushed the fireplace panel. It moved. A narrow passage appeared. "Come on." They entered. The passage was dark and dusty. Adrian held his phone's flashlight toward the floor. Behind them, the study door shook. Someone was trying to break it open. The old woman struggled to walk. Adrian stopped. "Can you continue?" "I have to." "You're hurt." "I've been hurt before." He looked at her sadly. "You shouldn't have to be." She gave him a tired smile. "That is what your father used to say." They continued through the passage until they reached a small underground room. Adrian switched on an emergency light. There was an old computer sitting on a desk. The woman stared at it. "Your father stored the real evidence here." Adrian looked confused. "I thought the notebook was the evidence." "No." She pointed toward the computer. "The notebook tells you where to find it." Adrian switched on the machine. A password screen appeared. He tried his father's birthday. Wrong. His mother's birthday. Wrong. His own birthday. Wrong. The woman said quietly, "Your father told me the password once." "What is it?" She closed her eyes. "Kindness." Adrian typed the word. The screen unlocked. Hundreds of files appeared. Bank records. Secret contracts. Photographs. Audio recordings. Names. Adrian opened the first file. His father's voice filled the room. "If you are hearing this, I am probably dead." Adrian froze. The old woman's eyes filled with tears. Richard's recording continued. "I trusted Daniel Mercer. I trusted him like a brother. That was my greatest mistake." Adrian stared at the screen. The recording revealed that Daniel and Victor had secretly controlled a network of shell companies. Money had been moved through those companies for years. But there was something worse. Richard had discovered that Daniel planned to take complete control of coal industries. And Richard had refused to cooperate. The final recording was dated 2 days before his death. "I know they are watching me. If I disappear, don't believe the accident story." Adrian covered his mouth. For 12 years, he had carried guilt over his father's death. He had wondered whether he could have saved him. Now he knew his father had been fighting people he trusted. The recording ended. Silence filled the room. Then the old woman spoke. "There is one more thing." Adrian looked at her. "What?" "Your father didn't die immediately." Adrian's eyes widened. "What are you saying?" "He survived the crash." Adrian stood motionless. "He was alive?" "For a short time." Then why didn't anyone tell me? Because Daniel reached him first. Adrian's face turned pale. What happened? The woman lowered her voice. Your father gave me the key before they took him away. Where? To the hospital. Adrian stared at her. Did you see him? Yes. What did he say? The woman began to cry. He asked me to find you. Adrian's eyes filled with tears. What else? He said. She struggled to speak. He said, tell my son I never abandoned him. Adrian turned away. For years, he had believed his father had died without saying goodbye. Now he understood that his final thoughts had been about him. Suddenly, a sound echoed through the underground room. The computer screen flickered. A new message appeared. Unknown user, you should have left the old woman alone. Adrian stared at the screen. Another message appeared. Unknown user, you have 10 minutes. The old woman whispered, they found us. Adrian immediately copied the files onto the flash drive. We're not running anymore. The woman looked at him. What are you going to do? Adrian stood. We're going to expose them. You don't understand how powerful they are. I have something they don't. What? Adrian held up the flash drive. The truth. But before they could leave, the lights went out again. This time, the darkness was complete. Then came a loud metallic sound from the passage. Someone was entering. The old woman grabbed Adrian's arm. There's another exit. Where? Behind the wall. She pointed toward a small stone section. Adrian pushed it. Nothing happened. Help me. Together they pushed harder. A hidden door opened. Cold night air rushed inside. They stepped outside behind the hotel. Adrian looked back at the building. He knew the people hunting them would not stop. But he also knew something else. His father had spent his final days trying to protect the truth. Now Adrian had a choice. He could remain silent and protect his wealth. Or he could risk everything to protect the woman who had walked into his ballroom simply asking for his leftovers. He chose her. He chose the truth. And neither of them realized that someone was standing across the street, watching them from inside a black car. Daniel Mercer lowered his phone. They found the files, he said. Victor Hale sat beside him. Then we finish what we started 12 years ago. Daniel looked toward Adrian. No. He smiled coldly. This time, we make sure there are no witnesses.